Very good afternoon and welcome to Racing International. We head down to Flamingo Park in the Northern Cape where we have 9 races on the card. Let's go and have a look at that track. Well, up the straight it's pretty fair right across there. It's on the sand. And you'll see the horses, they'll hold their lines there because they try and keep out the kickback. Once they go around the top turn, especially over the 12, 14 and 16, certainly helps to have middle to inside draws to try and get up in a nice, handy position. Now, 1,200 metres makes it pretty tough because you're drawn out wide there. You can be caught 3 wide, but you have got a decent run in to the line. Right, the first on the card today is over the 1,200 metres, helps have a decent draw here. It's a maiden plate for the fillies and the mares, and we're leaning towards, and it looks a pretty competitive race here. Antarctica looks the right one from the Miller stable with Marco from Rensburg. Certainly got a decent draw in barrier 4, but if you have a look at its form and the betting support, hasn't really been fancied in its last 5 starts, but hasn't been finishing far behind in its last 2 races. So certainly got a bit of a chance, as I said, in an open-looking race. Number 8, Mass Majors, gets blinkers on today and keeps the tongue tie on. Last time out was drawn 9 out of 14, cracks the same draw again, and certainly put up a much better gallop last time when only going down 3 lengths. Now, number 6 here comes out exactly the same form line from the Lensley stable. Shouldn't be much to choose between these two. They put the tongue tie on today. It has had 4 runs over this trip before and yet to run into money, but gets a reasonable draw in barrier 6. Thought number 1 as well from the Miller stable is coming off a break of 114 days. Now watch out for the betting here. Currently priced up at 4-1, moves up from Cape Town, has been running against a lot stronger down there. It's just the question mark is it's never been on the sand. How will it take to the surface? But does get a decent draw in that barrier 2. Race 2 on the card is a merit rated 79 handicap. This one's up the straight of 1,000 metres and another competitive race here, but I think number 3, Striking Pose. Now it is coming off a break of 62 days, but certainly has a good record on the sand. It's had 5 runs, 2 wins and 3 seconds. Now Andrew Fortune rode it going back a while ago in December when it got up to win by just under half a length. Then put up a couple of decent gallops, and last time out, I must say, was a little disappointing there, but that was in a merit rated 72. Now jumping up in class here, but is course and distance suited. Number 7, Captain's Cup, comes off a break of 247 days. Now, its last 3 runs were all on the sand at the Vale, where it would have taken on a lot stronger. Now, it got up to win a race, a merit rated 68, going back 2 starts, and won comfortably on the sand by 6.5 lengths. Now, it has cracked the draw doesn't really matter too much, but it's very firm in the market at 7-2. Just it's coming off that break of 247 days, another one to keep an eye on in the market. Thrown in the 8 from the Smith stable with Jared Penny. Now, there's money around for this horse at the moment at 28-10. Been well supported last time out. They backed it in from 6s into 7-2, and it only went down by 3/4 length. There have been 7 runners out of that form line, but no winners as yet. Race 3 on the card is Pinnacle Stakes, and we're travelling over the 1,400 metres. Number 2, Devon Gold from the Miller stable, having its 3rd run back from a bit of rest. Now, it's drawn okay in barrier 5, and I thought it might be a little bit of each way value here at 6-1. It's going to be 1.5 kilos better off to Quid's Ride, and Quid's Ride's not running in this race, but it is Jaguar comes out the same form line. Now, Jaguar went on to win a very good race last time. I don't think there'll be too much to choose between these two again. Jaguar was drawn down the inside in barrier 1, which is where you want to be, especially over the 1,400 metres. As I mentioned, was a very good winner last time. Actually went on to win a very nice race there, and it's got to carry 60 kilos. Number 5, Cape Siskin. Well, it's done nothing wrong. It's on a roll at the moment. It's won its last 3 starts in a row. Will have a tougher task here, but I have put a question mark over the distance. Look, it's placed 4 of its 8 starts over the course and distance, but yet to win. All right, you need one more. Stavinsky, certainly a bit of a squeak here. I put a comment here, watch out for it here. It had a run, it's been running up here in Johannesburg against much stronger company. Now, just having a look at its sand record, it goes pretty well. Hasn't run on the sand down there at Kimberley, but has run up here in Johannesburg and has a very good record from the Leon Erasmus stable, regular pilot Sherman Brown aboard, and I think could be value here at 12-1, certainly to put into the trifectas and quartets. Race 4 on the card is a maiden plate, and we're travelling over the 1,400 metres. Number 3, Roxy Babe, got Matthew Thackeray aboard, drawn in barrier 2. Now, having a look at its last 2 runs, it's been drawn wide and hasn't been finishing far behind. Was only beaten a length and 3/4 when running third, and then last time out ran second, beaten 3.5 from both from wide draws. Now gets a decent draw in barrier 2 and could be the value in the race at 7-2. Well, even money favourite at the moment is Downtown Danza. This is from the Miller stable with Gunter Roggeman aboard, but is drawn out pretty wide in barrier 11. Needs to get across and hopefully he doesn't get caught 3 wide. Certainly got the form to win this race. Also thrown in the 2 here with Muzieni. He's certainly one of the top jockeys down in the Northern Cape. He certainly boots home his fair share of winners, cracks a decent draw. Hasn't been fancied in last 4 outings, but certainly I give it a bit of a squeak in this race. Number 4, Bold Strategy, who's drawn out very wide in barrier 12. Will need luck from there, but I see they've put the blinkers on today. Now, I put up a decent run when they brought it back from a bit of a spell and after relocating from KZN, and that was certainly a decent gallop there when only going down 1 1/4 lengths. And if it can bring that form and it's back to that distance again, certainly if it has luck in running from the wide draw, priced up at 8-1. Race 5 on the card is a merit rated 68 handicap. 1800 metres is where we're going here, and number 8, Rocket Falls, 11-2. I thought represented the value in the race here. It's had 2 runs over the course and distance and run third on both occasions. Hasn't been finishing too far behind, and I think the sort of race that could pick up a win here. Drawn nicely in barrier 3. Number 4, Bolt of Light. Well, they took it up to Johannesburg at the Vaal. Well, it's an hour out of Johannesburg, and it actually ran a cracking race. We didn't think it'd have a chance there. It went off at 40-1 after coming up from the sand, and it actually put up a good run, only beaten just over 2 lengths, priced up at 33-10. And young Callum Murray, the apprentice who doesn't claim anymore, and he's certainly a top rider, this boy, he jumps aboard. All right, number 3, I thought was another one to consider for the trifectas, drawn in barrier 6. Last 2 runs have been up here in Johannesburg over the 1700 at the Vaal and not finishing too far behind. Now, it's never raced on this sand at Northern Cape, but has a pretty good record on the sand when the Vaal was open and had a win, 2 seconds and a third. So goes pretty well on the sand, and this could be a big runner here at 13-2. Number 9, another one with a bit of a squeak. They've put the blinkers on today, Royal Master. Now, with the claim off the back with the apprentice aboard, comes in with certainly a nice light galloping weight here of 48 kilos. Drawn out a little bit wide in barrier 9, but I don't think it'll matter over the 1800. They've got plenty of time down the back straight to find a decent position. Here we go, a nice race, and it's over the 1600 metres. It's a Kimberley Classic. It's a non-black type event, and number 2 looks the one to me. The Miller stable looks like they've got a decent hand today. Gunter Roggeman, he jumps aboard, and this has got the Cape Town form. Now, it's never been on the sand, so we do have a question mark there. It's priced up pretty short at 12-10, but if it can bring that form to the sand that's been running down in Cape Town, certainly looks pretty hard to beat. Number 9, True Valor from the Lensley stable with JP van der Merwe. I thought this could be the value of the favourite doesn't dust to the sand. This could be a bit of a sneaker here with JP van der Merwe aboard. Certainly holding form nicely when they put up a nice run last time when firm at the market, only going down a 1/4 length when running into second. Thought number 8, Bank Manager from the same stable, from the Lensley stable, Muzieni jumps aboard. Certainly was impressive and caught the eye last time, but that was coming straight out the maidens. Won comfortably, though, by 6 3/4 lengths. Number 5, Well Bound. Now, this is another son of Just as well, and gee, they're really throwing a few winners, and this one looks like it's a horse on the up here. It's won its last 2 pretty impressively over the 1800 metres, comes back to the mile today. Race 7 on the card is a Fillies and Mares 62 handicap. Always tough these races, low rated, and it's over the 1200 metres. Remember, they jump straight on the top turn here. And I've gone with the horse here's drawn out a bit wide. I just like it. It won well last time, drawn in barrier 12. It's going to be tough from there. Picked up quite a stiff penalty last time. JP van der Merwe jumps aboard with the stable. Pretty bullish about its chances. Number 1, Kate Gray. I almost tipped this first. It gets a nice draw in barrier 6, and it represents a little bit of value here at 9 9-2. Now, it's going to be 2.5 kilos better off to Lady Duchess, who beat it comfortably last time. But if you go back to the previous run, it actually beat Lady Duchess quite comfortably by a length and 3/4. So I think these two could fight it out again. Number 7, Shady Cat, comes off a long break here of 175 days. Mark over in Rensburg jumps aboard. Now, watch out for this. Goes well over the course and distance. Gets a decent draw in barrier 5. Just the question mark over the break. Number 2 is another one with a squeak with Gunther Roggemann from the Diane Stenger stable. Now, she's bringing it down from Johannesburg. The last 2 runs have been pretty poor. Well beaten on both occasions, but if you go back to the run, they brought it back after a bit of a rest on the 22nd of March. She put up a decent gallop there when only beaten just under 3 lengths. Had 5 runs on the sand, all up here at the Val, and placed on 2 occasions. Yeah, another tough race here, race 8 on the card. It's a Fillies and Mares 62 handicap. Another low-rated race over the 1,200 metres. And Nania Muzieni, 14-10. Now, I put a question mark here. It's formed strong. It's had 3 runs and going on the sand. It's put up really good gallops. But here's the comment from the stable. They have got a slight question mark over the 1,200, probably better over 1,000. Is the price a bit short? Well, I am a bit concerned about it. Their 14-10 does look a short price to me. Number 7, Spanish Flamenco, JP van der Merwe. Now, if the favourite doesn't work out here and it doesn't see out the trip, even though this one's drawn out a wee bit wide in barrier 9, it is coming up from KZN. We always put question marks against that form line. It normally takes them a run or 2, but the form is pretty strong down there in KZN. Doesn't look a strong race and certainly should be a competitor here. Number 11, Gift of Gold. Never been on the sand before. They bring it up from Port Elizabeth, but it does get a decent draw in barrier 3 with Ryan Munger aboard. And another one who's certainly holding form nicely. Hasn't really been fancied in its races his last 5 outings, but only finishing a couple of lengths behind. Number 4, Jet Swinger. I must admit I battled and tossed and turned which one I was going to throw in for 4th here. And this one might be a bit of a runner here. His form's not too bad. Actually a nicely bred individual. Just hasn't shown too much so far. Race 9 on the card is a merit-rated 66 handicap. Doesn't get any easier here, but number 2, Cairns. Clinton Brinder brings this from Johannesburg. Now, it's had 10 runs on the sand. It's actually had 5 at Flamingo Park, where it's had a win and 4 placings. So it goes okay there, gets a decent draw in barrier 2, and that form should be good enough for a race like this. It's been running in merit-rated 80 and 88 handicaps, not finishing too far behind, now drops down to a merit-rated 66. Number 3, All I Want with JP van der Merwe. It's having its second run for the stable, and it wasn't a bad first up gallop. It ran 4th, but beaten by a reasonable sort who's won quite a few races and should be competitive, even though it's drawn out wide in barrier 9. All right, trifecta time, and we're looking at number 4, Victoria's Love, 28-10, drawn in barrier 1. I must have a bit of a squeak there, but another horse coming up from KZN. As I mentioned earlier, that does take him a little bit of time to adjust, but a form line should be good enough to run into the money. Number 5, Peg for Glory. Now, this has actually found a bit of betting support. Surprised me because it is drawn out very wide in barrier 11. Now, I put up a decent gallop 2 starts ago in a very similar race over the course and distance where it only went down just under half a length, then come out last time and was disappointing, well beaten when running into 10th. If it can turn it around, but as I said, we'll need just a bit of luck from that wide draw in barrier 11. Yeah, it looks very competitive down there today. A little low-rated race, even though we've got a nice feature on the card. That should be a decent race for the 3-year-olds, but the rest of it looks very open indeed. We're going to be putting up all our selections at our Twitter account at Racing and Tips. From myself, Rod McCurdy, and all the team, we wish you a very successful start to the week.